Hello and welcome to Fearless DIY Music. My name is Tristan Lass, and today I'd like to talk about an upcoming project that I've just kind of started to get, my head wrapped around. It will be involving this guy right here. This is like a 1988 Peavey tracer made in the USA. It's the most basic one. It has the single humbucker and just the, Fender style vibrato on it, or tremolo. And I kind of have a long history with the Peavey tracer. Back in high school, in approximately 1988, I bought this exact same guitar for $200. It was black. I had it for about a year, messed around with it. I ended up putting, I read some story about using heavier strings, and it was probably one of those Stevie Ray Vaughan induced comas that so many guitarists back then got into. It's like, oh my God, I gotta, I'm playing 10s or I'm playing 9s. I better up my game. So I put a set of 11s on that old tracer, the black one, and it just did not work out. I mean, the guitar is a fairly lightly built guitar, and I was not very savvy with my lutherie skills back then, so I didn't realize, oh geez, I'm gonna have to adjust the neck. Oh, I may have to widen the nut slots. Oh, there's springs back here that I can tighten up so that the vibrato doesn't continually go out of tune. So anyway, I ended up getting rid of that guitar. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, I was looking through some old photographs and I saw the guitar in a picture and I was like, I used to have, well, yeah, I did. I'd forgotten about it. I'd forgotten I'd even owned it. And so I was like, well, it'd be kind of cool to see what those go for. And I found this one on Reverb, and it was not in the best of shape, but the price was right. I spent $200 on this one, just like I did my original. So I felt good about the purchase. I was just like, well, why not buy this? It's $200. And it's made in the USA. I mean, it's a Peavey made in the USA. A USA made guitar for $200. I couldn't turn it down. I don't think many people would. Unless this just is not your thing. So anyway, let me just grab it. Hopefully not take the stand with it here. Anyway, so I got this guy. And when I bought it, it had a bunch of little triangles all over it that had been done in fingernail polish. Let's see, hopefully my camera won't wig out, but I'm going to flip this over. It has a Slayer sticker on it, which is kind of cool. And there's little green paint and stuff. Tone control did not work. The strings just were flopping around up here. It had a string retainer that was doing more to keep it out of tune than in tune. So I removed that. I had to do a ton of setup work on this, and I rewired things, and I put a coil split in it because this pickup is capable of doing that. These pickups, interestingly enough, are actually a USA-made pickup as well. And I want to say, I'm probably going to regret trying to guess which company. I want to say that they may have been wound by Schaller. I'm not sure. I'm not going to commit right now. When I do the follow-up video after I transform this guitar, which I'm getting to, I'll detail this pickup a little bit more. But it is a USA-made pickup. So, I have this guitar. I've had it for about 3 years, and I like it for the nostalgia factor. It's cool. It's like, oh, wow, this takes me back to high school. This is fun. It's a fun guitar to play. It sounds good. The neck is straight. The frets are level. The action is really low on it. I have 9s on it currently. A lot of that's because of this string spread up here on this headstock. And I do play it some. There are 2 major barriers to me loving this guitar. Number 1, I guess we'll start with the most important one. Number 1, the color's wrong. Because everybody knows if you don't like the color of a guitar, that's a problem. I actually don't have a problem with this particular color on this particular guitar. What I do have a problem with is that I have a Dean Evo archtop, carved top, I should say, LP style guitar. It's actually more of a PRS clone from the early 2000s that is almost exactly this color. Having two guitars that are identical colors, unless they're a black or a white, is just kind of not okay with me. And then I also have another guitar that is a Lake Placid blue metallic. And so I have three blue guitars. And that's just one too many blue guitars. I can live with the metallic up against one of these, but having two this color is a problem. So the color has to change on this guitar. Now, the other major issue with this guitar is when you look at it, you're just like, you want to do silly stuff like dive bombs or, you know, try to shred a la the 80s. I know the 80s are big right now amongst some circles here on the interwebs and YouTube. I'm no exception. I like to play that stuff. I think it's fun. I like to try to tap sometimes and everything. But the huge barrier to doing fun, histrionic guitar playing on this guitar is the fact that this tremolo system is just not designed to do so. This was a budget model guitar. It has just a standard, you know, Fender style tremolo on it. There's no locking nut, no nothing. So when I try to do anything beyond just a light trill with this, it's going to go slightly out of tune. I mean, I've done everything up here to lube the nut, and the strings move freely. It stays in tune pretty well, but I want to do some stuff. So we got the color and we got the tremolo system. So here in the box, I have a Gotha locking nut. And the Gotha Floyd Rose licensed tremolo system. These are affordable versions of Floyd Rose that are actually well made, relatively affordable. This is not the cheapest of the cheap. It's definitely not as expensive as an actual Floyd, but it kind of is an actual Floyd. I have one of these on another guitar that I absolutely love. And that's my only guitar with a Floyd on it. I have that one routed so that I can pull up on it. This one I want to do a la Van Halen and just have a flat mount. So I'm going to be putting this onto the guitar along with the locking nut. And then the other big elephant in the room is, what color am I going to paint this? So I went back and looked at Peavey's colors from this era and what colors they were putting out. And thankfully, they did a yellow. So I'm going to be doing kind of a warm yellow color on this body. I will take it all apart, sand it down to wood, prime it, and paint it and gloss coat it and buff it and try to make it look as factory as possible, you know, doing it DIY. I'll be spraying the color rattle can, but then I'll brush on the poly, and then that, I find that if I apply with a brush, I can get a slightly thicker coat that's more even. It self-levels as well, because I, you know, mount it so that it's flat, and I can get a really nice, you know, gloss coat on it, and then it makes it very sandable as well. So I'll be able to put it on the buffing wheel and we'll get a nice shine on it. So I just wanted to introduce this project, the Peavey Tracer. The 88 Tracer is going to be transformed into an 80s style machine that I want to play, that I want to pick up and just have fun with. This isn't a guitar that I'll be like, you know, using in the studio extensively. But if I was going to go over to a friend's house and just like jam for a little bit and wanted to bring something cool and fun looking, this would be it. And it'll also be just a lot of fun just to play. So anyway, that's the introduction to the Tracer. It's going yellow and it's getting a Floyd. And the next time you see this guitar, it will be fully transformed, and I'll have a lot of pictures and maybe some little video snippets of the journey of getting this guitar to where it will be. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you've made it this far, please hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a comment. Do you have any American-made old Peaveys? I mean, they're cool guitars. You can still find them relatively cheap. The only reason I got this one at such a low price point was because it was pretty jacked up. I looked the other day, and these are running more in the $400 to $500 range these days. And I don't know if I'd pay quite that much for one of these. But if you see one in a pawn shop or your local store and it's just sitting in the back collecting dust, make an offer and see what you can get for it. Anyway, take care, and I look forward to seeing you next time.